I love this quote from Marissa Mayer. She's a former CEO at Yahoo, executive from Facebook. She says it's about getting the best people, retaining them, nurturing a creative environment, and helping to find a way to innovate, right? So it's not just enough to find them in the recruiting process. Now we're actually going to talk about hiring, right? And here's a stat that I think people might just not think about. So 83% of the fast growth companies send written job offers that include pay rate, pay frequency, leave benefits, and at-will employment. Just 66% of the down year or flat companies do the same. So 66% of flat and down year companies do send job offers with all those things, probably because that just seems like a pretty reasonable thing. 66% is clearly a majority. Right. But it's a big gap between 66% and 83%. That means the fastest growing companies, it's not just that they have better processes to recruit the best people. They're meticulous in their processes in expectation setting from the jump, not from day one, from pre-day one. If I give you a job offer, I'm spelling out clear expectations for what this job is. So, I mean,
that's right.
Expand on that, Mary. What do you think explains the increase in productivity? What is it? It's almost 20%. So 15%, 18% improvement for the fast growers versus down year companies by just something as simple as a written job offer.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and again, this is going to sound trite, but you only get one chance to make a first impression. And a written job offer shows the professionalism of the organization. It also starts the employee on the right foot, right? I was in an interview. I heard a lot of things, right? You got a lot on your mind. You're probably not taking notes about, leaves and benefits and all this information. It starts that employee off on the right foot. They understand when they're going to get paid, how much they're going to get paid, when can I take a leave? What are the benefits that I have? And of course, at will employment. And there's a compliance piece to written job offers as well. We are editing these all the time for employers. It could be something as simple as when you state all of these benefits, you always want to say these benefits may change at any time for any reason. I've had employers just state, right, that, maybe they have this wonderful, full pay medical or something, right, super generous like that. And then they go to change the plan and people are like pulling out their job offers and going, not for me. Mine says this. So I do want to caution our listeners that there definitely is a compliance piece to everything. But those fast-growing companies are more professional. It's more succinct. You're starting that person off on the right foot, right? Because a lot of employees will leave in the first 3 months because they're like, I don't even know when I get paid. There's just so many negatives that, that they, want to make sure that, or that organization wants to make sure there is no questions or there's a minimum amount of questions. Just makes you look more professional.
I mean, it really is as simple as that, right? I mean, it's more professional. It sets better expectations. Probably feels weird even spending this much time on it, but the fact is, it's a huge gap. 66% of companies who are shrinking or flat do it. 83% of fast-growing companies. This isn't a sample size of 10. This is 2,065 businesses. That tells you something, right? There's value in it. Okay. In something I think about, Mary, it's not even that there's value in it. Sometimes I almost think like these HR practices are symptoms more than their root causes. So like, if you're a crappy boss who's terrible to your employees, are all of a sudden you're going to be a growing company because you start writing all this stuff down? No. But people who care about their staff and and are forward leaning in their people practices and want to do their very best, a natural outcome is things like using job boards, applicant tracking, written job offers, right? I almost think that, like, what comes first, chicken or the egg here? What comes first is the desire to treat people their very best with respect and find the best people and create a company that values people. And when you do that, these best practices follow. It's not the other way around, but certainly there's a correlation, right? Okay.
Oh, there's definitely a correlation. And, being the HR nerd on the call, I would say, there's a right and a wrong way to do all of that. Like, so what does that mean, treating people with respect? I think all of these things that we're covering is treating employees with respect and being professional. So it definitely makes a difference.